So, well, tell us what we want, what we really, really want. What we really, really want is to watch a show. Yay!
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good, bad. I'm the guy with the mic.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Hi, everybody. Happy Sunday. Thank Cthulhu it's Sunday. Hey, Tom Don.
Hey, Tom.
Thank you for showing up. Welcome to another exciting episode of The Padded Cell, where we have no idea what in the fuck we're talking about. Or we don't really care.
Yeah.
I hope you all had a good week. I hope you're ready to embark upon a brand new adventure this week. Isn't that right? That's what we want our friends to do. To have good weeks and good adventures. And everything's nice.
I feel like I'm watching a children's show right now.
That's where my brain is. I have the light, so it's not all dark in here anymore. So I'm suddenly like,
I noticed that.
oh,
What
Yeah.
happened there? Did you pay your electric bill finally and they turned your lights back on?
no, I'm too short and my shoulder's still just enough fucked up to not be able to reach. The outlet that lamp plugs into is behind that sofa. And I can't move the sofa back and forth. And I'll climb over it and reach down and get the power strip plugged in to live in the house that Jack built by the time you get all the cords and everything's run through. So my Joshua was here and he did all that for me. So I'm like, ooh, I have light. I can see things.
But then
It's
you have to turn it
strange.
off or you're just going to leave it on the whole time.
I turned off the really, really tall one that made everything bright, but I can I'll have to adjust it because it's further away than it used to be. I used to be able to I could just reach tall enough and pull it down, but I can't work my arm like that right now. So I have to turn it off when I get up.
Can we get you a little mini trampoline? Jump up and down until you catch it and pull it?
I would probably injure myself on that. I am not lucky when it comes to maneuverability. I am the klutz. You buy me a mini trampoline, I'll be bouncing to try to do that, and then I will slip. I'll get the foot will be in the trampoline, which will bounce up and ricochet off something and get stuck here, and then I'll hit my head on the way down. And then if somebody tries to come and get me, they're like, "Oh, we can't move her because even though she's unconscious and bleeding from the scalp and the skull fracture that she has now, she's also attached by the foot to a trampoline that's in between the couch and there's a machete stuck in there somehow. I don't know how that got in there, but and then there's a tea cart in the way, and there's a skull that landed, and it's chewing on her. That would be how that would work out, probably.
Should we get you one of those little grabber arms like the T-Rex use?
Maybe. I wouldn't be opposed to it. I could do grab arms. We got my mom one for her hip is bad, so it's like hard for her to put on the sock on one side. She's flexible, she just can't with her hip. The dog is scared of it. What's that? Why are you doing that? It's like, well, train the dog. Put my socks on. Put my socks on. That's what you do. You train the dog.
Has you tried the towel thing?
I don't know. Nook!
Where you...
Hey, buddy!
Hi!
Nook.
This is my friend Nook. This is Friday. This is Ron.
I've got my Harry Dresden wand tonight.
Ooh.
The small one. I don't have a hockey stick.
Alrighty. Do you know what the towel
How do you
thing
do the
is?
towel? How do you do the
Okay.
No. What
you
is
take
it?
the hand towel, the small ones for like the kitchen or the bathrooms, and you fold it up where it's sort of like fully folded, and you get it make sure there's a crease in the middle where you can definitely put your foot through, and you put the sock on it, and then that way it gives you extra reach, and you pull it up, and you can pull it up far enough to be able to reach the sock.
Huh?
I will
There's
have
a
to suggest
video
that to
about
her.
it.
Yes, Nook and I go way back. Like, well over a decade. Like 15, 20 years, something like that, I think. He introduced me to badassmofos.com, which is sadly now a defunct website, but I still keep track of some of the people from there. Yeah, almost 20 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What was
Nice to see you here. It was a website where a bunch of badass mofos got together and shit talked and looked at pictures of ladies that were scantily clad, if at all.
Sounds like my kind of site.
Yes, it's it was fun. There were lots of ranting things going on, and just ultimate shitpost website. It was just fun at the time. And actually, I found out later on that Raz was on there as well, and a couple of my other friends that I've maintained contact with since were from there. So we got some mofos in the house, and you guys didn't even know it. We got multiple mofos in the Allied Army. We just didn't know who each other was at the time. So,
and now they call it Reddit.
There's a subreddit for us, and somebody thought it was just for making comments about people who were badass. So they were like, yeah, this one time Teddy Roosevelt did something. And we're like, you're on the wrong fucking site, son. We don't give a shit about cool people. We are here to talk trash. Oh, thank you. But yeah, we were terrible people. I'm kind of glad that you can't find most of my posts. Yeah. It's sad though, because we've lost some people, and some grew up and got married, and some grew up and some grew dead, and some just still sit around and shit post on the internet. So
like you.
Yes. I put good posts though. I think I've gotten a lot better about my quality posts, I get sad. I miss those days. But once again, like I said, I'm kind of glad because nobody knows who I was there except for the people who were there. And yeah, I kind of think like maybe some of the things that when I was venting there, it's probably a good thing that people can't read them these days. Because that's when I didn't give a shit about, I didn't think about like, oh, in the future, people will be able to reference your past stuff. And it was before that kind of stuff went around, you know? Like when it's
Yeah, if
like,
only
we're
we'd
going to
known.
cancel you because you had said when you were 10 years old, you said something about this and it was bad. Like, is it?
If we'd only known then what we know now, what would we have done differently?
So many things. No, I would have gotten started in stand up earlier because I would have known I was funny then. Or well, I don't know if I still am, but I was back then. Now I'm just pissed. So, and I'm not like the Sam Kinison or whatever type of comedian, so I can't just be like, you know. But I could have had a decent
It would
stand-up
be
career
fun.
back in the day.
It would be fun to see your stand up though.
I don't believe that any copies of it exist.
I think she's
I
standing up
didn't.
right now, Friday.
Oh, I was like flipping you out for the squirrel.
just
That
rude.
does not work.
No, you can't see through the squirrel.
Yes.
And yeah,
Cancel culture. Not happy with it.
it,
Not a
No
good
one
yeah,
thing.
they
but
try to
yet
get
it
people to
persists.
shit.
Tom Dog has been canceled a couple of times. Oh, shut up. Nook could easily pat you on the head, by the way, Jenny. So just be like, hi, little one.
How tall is Nook?
6 foot.
Wait a minute, how
7
tall
foot.
are you, Nook?
Nook is a tall man.
7 feet 8.
6'6".
Oh, so you're the size of my husband. Gotcha.
Peter Steele was 6'6".
I'm 5'4". I'm like, hi. While you're
You
up
were
there,
you're literally mom size.
I was 5'5.5", and then I took my shoes off. I don't know. I think I hit 5'5.5". I'm not sure if I'm still 5'5.5", because I don't know if I shrunk at all. I'm hoping I haven't. I'll have to check out. I most of my doctor's appointments these days are online, so I don't have to go and get measured and things, because that's what we do
Understandable.
now. You know, I got my own blood pressure
You
cuff. I'll just
that works. You are my mom size, and he is Josh's mom size. Oh wow, that had to be kind of painful.
Yeah, that is something I've noticed that is an issue for a lot of you tall people. You end up having back problems.
Well, if they could fuse some adamantium in there with it. And,
Yeah.
And my mom is this size. So, as Drew calls her, she is Mombalina.
Yes, your mom
Ethan's
was.
message.
I was not expecting that.
Yeah, Car Mom is very small. My sister just got a picture with her son's new truck, he went out and oh yeah, he is metallic. 10 screws of 4 spacers, a titanium bracket.
Bionic Man.
Das Nuke is working out to be the tall version of Wolverine eventually, unlike the installment plan. Getting there.
Only 200 more bones to go.
My sister is also short, and my nephew just got like a monster truck. And I think I sent you guys pictures of it. I can't remember if I did or not, but there's like this picture of the truck, and like he's standing beside it, and the door's open, and he's like got the, he's up almost near the top of the truck. And then my sister's on the other side, and they took a picture, and she is like under the rear view mirror.
Yeah, I
standing
saw
there.
that.
Yeah. And so mom was like, yeah, he drove that thing over here to mow the other day. I'm like, did you stand under the license plate? She was like, shut up. That was mean. I'm like, come on, it would have been funny. My Tom dog. I used to work with a friend of mine who was 6'6". She didn't like her, but okay. Cute. So yeah, there's only 3 of us here tonight for a pad cell. We were talking about books and stuff beforehand. Punctuation, spelling errors, editing errors, and things like that. Because this is what we do. We're really exciting people outside of this.
Woohoo!
Oh yeah.
Woo! I did drink half a bottle of wine last night while I watched bad movies because I was trying to avoid watching Amityville in space. So I'm like, I will watch Midsummer because I have not seen that yet, and I couldn't find it. So I was like, okay, well, what do I have that is available for me on one of these streaming channels that I have always wanted to watch? And I was like, oh, nothing is sticking out at me right now. So I watched We Have a Ghost. And I went, oh, well, that was a movie.
I think
And then
Midsummer
I
is
watched,
actually worse than Amityville in Space. That movie was hella boring.
I
I gotta
actually got
see.
to drink over the weekend. It was nice.
Nice.
You got to drink over the weekend.
Yeah, I don't normally get to drink. And I found that all the bartenders make tequila sunrises different.
Mm-hmm.
The best tasting one was the second bartenders. The prettiest one was the 30th, not 30th, but the third bartenders. Yeah, but in all, I generally enjoyed them all and tried my first Modelo beer.
What'd you think of that?
It was better than some of the beers I've tried. Definitely.
Gotta get you into craft brews and stuff. Get to be a
I've been
beer snob.
testing them. We keep randomly buying some from different breweries from around Texas. It's just this time around they were just different types than normal, and I just tested different ones.
I'm not really much of a beer guy. I'll drink the tequila sunrises, but you can keep the rest of it. I've never really met a beer that I like. Mahana.
Mahana.
Good evening.
Hello, Mahana.
Our adventure heroine.
Yes. I started having a beer here or there, but
He drinks beer 6 times a year, usually on friends' birthdays, so he's only got 6 friends.
well, he's not here anymore. So he doesn't get to drink beer with me on my birthday. He moved away.
Luckily, I have you guys.
much.
Sorry, we're all tired.
No yawning. It's supposed to be a show. We're supposed to be exciting and engaging and talk about interesting topics for our viewers. Otherwise, they'll lose interest and they'll go away, and we don't want that. And Ratatoshka is doing a dance.
Yeah, I was gonna get out his clothes, but I could show you all the creepy dolls that I found when we were cleaning.
Yes.
But okay, so
love
gotta dig in
dolls.
here. Okay, so this one my mom made me bring home because I found it at her house and kept making her keep it. And I don't think this one's creepy at all, but she just
All dolls
has
are
a little
creepy.
stand. But
Oh my god!
I thought she was
that is
pretty cool.
I love her.
She's kind of pretty. Yeah, I like her too. She's probably going to be a white elephant at some point.
Yeah,
But
just
that makes
I hear
me sad.
if you tell them things like that, like you're pretty and I like you and all that kind of stuff, there's less chance that they're actually going to stalk you and try to kill you.
yeah.
Alternatively,
Okay, then
you
I
could
got
just
these two. Oh, he can't.
Oh,
This is her face.
so
And they
pretty.
are music boxes. This one. And then
Christmas one,
this
like
one.
those are cool. I actually like
Yeah.
those. They're pretty neat.
And they dance, and I found out the song. I can't remember what the song is that this one plays, but this one plays a music box version of Send in the Clowns, which is kind of creepy, kind of funny.
I love that.
And then this, of course, I can wind this up and it goes, but this was one that we all played with from like my mom had it as a little girl, and then it went on and on and on from my grandma's, and all the paint
Fred
has come off of the
Flintstone
face and
kid?
stuff. But she'll she's animatronic, so she like crawls at you and like it makes really grindy gear noises.
Is it wearing a Fred
So
Flintstone outfit?
no, it's just like a little polka dot. Oh, I put them away.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a little polka dot, like rough and little like baby crawl outfit, but it's worn away. A lot of its sleeves and stuff because the gears cut through them over time and wore through the material. We found a lot of shit. I was just like, oh my God. There's like, what is with all of these little bottles of whiskey? I'm like, because Ratatosker's an alcoholic. He's got to have his whiskey. He's got his shine, he's got everything. Gets his own special bar. Yeah, he has to have his own bar and I keep losing his nephew. He's around here somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where he went. It was foster kid. His spare liver, in case anything happens. He's a horrible squirrel. He doesn't understand genetics. I tried to explain. Just because you bring somebody in and you say that they're related to you and you make them related to you and part of your family, you still can't genetically just harvest organs from them and assume that it's going to be a match, because that actually takes some blood relation most of the time. I don't know. But
yeah,
he's a shitty squirrel, Yeah. You're afraid of porcelain dolls? And well, see, if I'll show up and like start sending you little emails or little things of like texts with like porcelain dolls, and you can be like, shit, and it'll keep you awake through your shows. That will work. Like, I'll just wind up the things and send you a live stream of the dolls dancing to Send in the Clowns and whatever the hell the other song was.
That'd be a good TikTok.
Just the dolls.
Yeah, just the dolls dancing to Send in the Clowns.
I would.
There's
love
a
to
really
post that.
weird trend going.
That would be amazing.
Okay. I need to elaborate on this. This wasn't Nook at all. Well, he did this, but there was somebody else that I knew who did that. And I don't know how they got by with it, but they would print out sometimes their own copies of some of the photos that they got. And yeah, here's some inspiration for you. This guy, like, meeting people for the first time, if he found out that you were a creepy person like me, he'd be like, oh, let me show you some pictures. And it's like, here, do you remember that story about the lady they found dead in her closet after a week? This is what the crime scene looked like. And it's just like, the fuck, dude? And he would have them mixed in with his regular pictures too. So there was every now and then he'd just be like, oh, this is my girlfriend doing this. This is, my friend Joe doing this. And oh shit, never mind that one. And you're like, okay, I have pictures on my, I have things that I've used for research and stuff on my computer. Like, oh shit, I accidentally had a Catherine Eddowes autopsy file from the Jack the Ripper in research in my family photo folder at one point. It just got messed up in there. But I don't walk around with like a wallet that has dead people's pictures in it that I don't know,
Just dead people that you do know.
Oh, jeez. I'm sorry for that. That had to be gruesome.
That is wow.
And that note, hi, Stefan.
Hi, Stefan.
Was that the inspiration for the Cannibal Corpse song "Hammer Smashed Face"?
But was it a clawfoot hammer? Or now we're just getting weird.
Yes, we are.
It is a padded cell.
Nook, you got us on track. Thank you.
It is a padded cell.
We needed somebody to get us there. All right.
What is
Friday,
tracking
your
this
volume
shit?
is very hard to hear. I'm having a hard time hearing you. Where is your mic?
Okay. Over here. Can you hear me better this way?
Yes. Can you move it closer? Just take it right in front of your face, like right here.
Hello.
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
See? It's pretty and gold.
Mm-hmm.
Just shiny. Like that. Ooh.
1 second,
Much.
please.
So what's an interesting topic that we can talk about other than, gruesome crime photos? And I mean, I don't know, maybe people want to hear about that, but I don't have any.
You don't have any?
I don't have any gruesome.
I spent at least 3 hours last week watching reels of jumping baby spiders. Or little, not baby, but those little jumping spiders. Like people raise them, and then they make reels of them, and they have them talking in like little baby voices, and they're like, "I just gotta do this," and that's how they talk with their little mandibles or whatever in their. I can't remember what the actual term for it is, but and it was really cute. And then like I joined the site to the baby jumping or the little jumping spider site, and I got really freaked out because some people are like, oh, this is a spider site, so what is this ginormous monstrosity that has invaded my house and killed 3 of my children already? And it's like, no, we're supposed to be looking at little spiders that are like this big, that are cute and say things in baby voices and go wee and just kind of jump and swing around, not whatever the fuck crawled out from Australia's underbelly and hit on Dracula's ship and came over here. That's not what this channel is about. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles versus the Headless Horseman.
Huh?
I I think the turtles would win.
Okay.
Yeah. They could they well, besides having the strength in numbers, they're smart at well, I'm not a huge turtles fan, but their sensei would be smart enough to help them end the curse, I think. So they could organize the whole thing. And then there'd be pizza on the bridge or something.
Yes. They'd go to their favorite pizza place and grab pizza afterwards.
See, chasing down April, and then there's like, ah. And all of the people right now who do comic book shows with me, if they're seeing this, are like, is that all you think of when you think of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? And I'll be like, kinda. Sorry.
I know Epic Rap
Yeah,
Battles of History did
Yes.
a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles versus the Renaissance artist that they're named after.
yes.
Ooh, that would be neat to watch. I want to
I'm
see
trying to think.
Etrigan doing rap battles, like Etrigan versus Eminem.
See, Etrigan is Raven's father, right?
No,
The demon
Etrigan
from
is he's the demon, but he's the yellow demon that rhymes.
what
I
was
think
Raven's
Raven's
father?
father was
Raven's father was a demon. I thought what was his name? I thought his name was Etrigan.
Trigon.
Yeah, okay. That was
Yeah, no,
close.
Etrigan's the yellow demon.
Okay.
And he's fun to read at times if somebody's writing him well, because it's a thing in hell that a rhymer's a station that you get, and so he like has to rhyme everything, but some people don't do it very well, and some people have fun with it. Like recently he was in uh John Constantine Lost in America or something like that. It's Hellblazer Lost in America, I think. But he like kept pronouncing his name wrong so that it would rhyme with what he was doing, and John's throwing a bitch fit about it, like, pronounce my name right. If you're gonna rhyme with me, rhyme it right. And Etrigan would go out of his way to like say something so that he could mispronounce his name. It was pretty fun. And he has gotten in kind of rap battles with people before, but I want to see a really good one, like a whole comic dedicated to it or something. Like Eminem has been in comic books before. Was he with him?
I don't know, but after the crap that Constantine has put Etrigan through, he deserves
Yeah.
it.
Oh, no, Eminem was in Spider-Man. Spider-Man
Really?
versus Eminem. Yeah.
I was just thinking more along the lines of actual battles, not necessarily rap battles. I was thinking who would be adequate opponents for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They did the TMNT and the Power Rangers crossover at one point, although I don't recall that they ever actually fought each other. Or maybe they did because they thought that they were something that Rita Repulsa sent down. And then, once it turned out that they were fighting on the same side. But I'm trying to think of who else would be like good opponents for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, they've. Coop, we need a Justin Cooper in here right now, please. Justin, come here.
What
You
about
have your own
Trigon
Turtles
versus
podcast.
Spawn? Can we do Trigon versus Spawn?
Trigon versus Spawn? Okay.
I think that'd be a really good battle. Wonder how come Epic Rap
That would
Battle
be
History hasn't done a rap battle against Adam's Family and the Munsters.
That would be fun.
Oh yeah.
I'm like asking in splash pages right now, who would be a good one? Help us. You're our only hope.
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Lecter. I mean,
Okay.
Lecter, that's just a no-brainer right there. Actually, Jeffrey Dahmer caused the no-brains, but Lecter, I'm sorry to all of the victims and their families, but trepanation is fun, folks. It's when you cut a little disc in someone's head, and then you generally insert some sort of caustic material in to dissolve a specific part of the brain, and if done properly, can create a voodoo type of stance. And if done incorrectly, which most often it is, if not done by a medical professional, just causes, kills them or just causes them to move into a vegetative state, and unless they're medically taken care of, kills them. Stefan is going to move to Mexico and play Metallica on an acoustic bass on the beach.
Okay. Well, good luck with that.
Fun. That would be fun to do.
Drew's like, are you talking team members or talking a team or members to make a team? I'm like, just come on, join us, Drew. Come on. We need help.
Yes.
Jason Aaron's writing new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so he could maybe come up with some new stuff. I don't know.
You know what I think would have been fun to see? Here's a crossover that nobody ever thought of that they should have done. MacGyver and the A-Team.
That would have been so much fun.
We're stuck in a giant garage. They're both just super excited.
Ooh. Your background.
What'd you do? We built a tank.
Living in a castle.
Not exactly. Technically, it's a church.
The crosses are the giveaways there.
Make that into wallpaper and put it above your toilet. It's sitting on your holy throne.
Print off the picture.
I'm like,
do the whole wall behind your toilet with that.
This will only make sense to Nebraskans. I was once in Dave Weber's downstairs basement bathroom, and it is a Husker-themed bathroom. Dave Weber was a sportscaster here, news sports guy here in Nebraska that covered the Cornhuskers, and his bathroom was like solid red, and he had Cornhusker toilet paper. Like, so it wasn't just the novelty roll sitting on the back. Like, he bought like enough that they used it as toilet paper.
He's got Husker toilet paper for his Husker Do.
That's Husker Do, by the way.
Husker Do.
Husker Do. Yes, it's not Husker Do. It's Husker Do.
If I said Husker Do, it would have ruined the joke.
Well, then it's not a very good joke.
Still got it.
Yes.
Well, yeah. But it's also, I went by the Walgreens over there and
getting other people to say it.
It sounds so, it feels weird. It feels odd in New Orleans. And all I could think it as as we went past it, because it looks like one of the older ones is, hey, I wonder how Dell's doing.
That's doing great. Oh,
You were probably asleep whenever I went past it.
potentially.
It
And then
was
Justin
about
Cooper just
9.
showed up.
Yay, it's a genie. We love Justin.
We do. We loves the Justin.
So you were going to ask him who would be a formidable opponent for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Yes. He trues like Daredevil has to be in there.
I think they already battled, didn't they? Daredevil and the Turtles?
I don't know. Okay, Daredevil, Batman, Black Panther, and Wolverine.
I don't necessarily know if that's a fair fight.
That's kind of like all the big toughies together.
Well,
Okay,
my problem
here's
is... Go ahead.
here's a much more. This is what Coop, the resident TMNT guy, says. Usagi Yojimbo, Pandacon, Hit Girl, and Iron Fist, or Hit Girl, Iron Fist, and Luke Cage. Also Colleen Wing and Misty.
Okay, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and I'm assuming you mean Misty Knight. All of them have some sort of superpower. Hit Girl does
Yes,
not.
Misty Knight was just amended. I
Hit
think Hit
Girl
Girl's just a
is normal,
badass.
she's just well trained. It's kind of like Black Widow. You know, she might not be as good as Black Widow, who has had, you know, a lot more training, but even Black Widow doesn't have any superpowers in and of herself.
Well, but
She's
the
just...
turtles, other than being gigantic and well trained, don't really have superpowers.
Well, yeah, but they've got the durable skin and shells, which, you know, aid in you know, their fighting prowess, and they've created attacks which work, you know, toward that end. My problem is that the turtles mostly live in sewers. They don't really have jobs. They don't have a lot of money, you know. So they don't really have the same kind of resources that Daredevil, Batman, Black Panther, and Wolverine would have, being backed by other organizations that could give them the tools and the resources that they need. You know, the turtles are not going to have, you know, Wayne Enterprises type money to get really cool weapons and all of that. And I'm also... Wolverine's adamantium laced bones are probably far more durable than, you know, the turtle's shells and skin at some point. So I don't think that that's a very fair fight.
Yeah, it is. They don't have like, okay, Wolvie's a mutant.
Yeah, he's
But
got fast
Dare-
healing. That's not going to really, you know, help the
Yeah.
turtles all that much.
Kind of looking over though, like the other ones are just kind of geniuses that are very good martial artists. Batman, Daredevil, and Black Panther. They have,
Well, even
you know,
Black Panther, I think
from
he's
Drew's
bestowed with,
Cruise.
you know, some kind of limited superpowers just based on his role as Black Panther. He's probably far more durable, has faster speed, reflexes, and maybe some enhanced healing. Maybe not to Wolverine's, abilities, but he's probably got some enhanced healing as well, just by being granted the whole Black Panther powers.
Point.
We're all significantly stronger than ordinary humans, except maybe Daredevil, who's not superhumanly strong, but he's also got body armor, I think, that probably enhances his natural strength, just like Batman does.
Well, when he had black armor, he did. Chichester's right of him with the black armor. He had really good armor, but he had to get that because he realized that his normal armor was like, oh, I can just get shot.
Mm-hmm.
That works through spandex. It kind of goes on through there.
I mean, yeah, you can sort of see an evolution of Daredevil over time. When he first started out, he didn't have any armor at all. He was just wearing basically cloth clothing, and he was getting the shit beat out of him. And just by being a better scrapper was winning the fights, but he was still getting bruised and all of that. Then once he started getting the better armor, it sort of evolved into becoming a better fighter and not getting bruised as much.
Here's one. What if we had the Robins go up against the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Well, considering that I think 3/4 of them have like died at least once and come back.
Well, but that's same with turtles. I've read some really interesting stuff where they're like, oh, they have crazy shit happen to them too. And I think they might have encountered the Ghostbusters at one point in time. I'm not
I
positive
think
on that.
Dick
Drew would
Grayson's
know.
the only one that
but-
hasn't actually died. The original Robin, I think, he's the only one that didn't actually die. The one that went on to become Nightwing, and he just became a hell of a fighter.
Nightwing died in Injustice, but that's an
did he?
off.
Okay.
Well, but Injustice was a total like an Elseworld kind of thing. Kind of.
I think they've all died at least once.
Nightwing has a very weird following, depending on who's writing him. There are fan people who really admire Nightwing's tushy and have named each cheek.
Good grief. So there
That's
was
farther than
Yeah.
I expected.
what was the last one's name? Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Damian Wayne, and help me out here. Who's the other one? Isn't there another one?
Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, and Damian Wayne.
Tim Drake. Okay.
He
He
was after Jason Todd.
Okay. Yeah.
Didn't he go on to be Red
Hood.
Hood or yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't that him?
'Cause I think he died and then he came back, and I think he was holding a grudge, and that's why he became Red Hood.
You're like, this is the amateur one. Okay, let's see. He was also Red Robin for a while.
Red
Robin.
Robin.
Yum. Oh, we're so fun.
I love you.
I don't know.
Bat in the Sun Productions does a lot of pitting heroes and villains against each other. They're a lot of fun to watch with because they do a lot of it's all live action fights. The actors playing the roles and with all the choreography, and man, they are spot on with some of the stuff that they do. Like they go all out for their productions. They're a lot of fun to watch. Superpower Beatdown, if anybody's familiar with it.
Yes, it was Jason
Yeah, I
Todd who
haven't.
became Red Hood.
Okay.
Sorry. I got confused. I don't know the Batman world well enough. It's sad because I've read a lot of it, and Ninja Turtles versus Lizard, Killer Croc, King Shark, and Man Bat.
Now that I could see, I think that would make a much more fair fight.
That would be fun. Oh, and they're bringing back the Universal Monsters, but they're also bringing back, is it the Monster Squad, I think? Or Creature Commandos. There we go. Get confused sometimes.
All right, what
That
was
could
it?
be fun too.
Lizard Man, Killer Croc, Man Bat, and what was the other one?
King Shark.
King Shark. Now that's interesting because that would also be a Marvel versus DC. Since TMNT is Marvel and the other four are all DC.
Well, you know, they've had crossovers before.
Yeah, that would
It
actually
could
be a
happen
really
again.
good matchup. I could see that one. Because they're all people that were mutated into something else.
Good call, Tom Dog. Could also be the radioactive adolescent karate hamster. No,
Black belt hamsters.
Yes. Keith Champagne's donation. Yes, we love it.
Attack of the radioactive hamsters from a planet near Mars.
Night of the Lepus.
Oh god. Night of the 50-foot Lepus.
Weird.
What have we got? We've got giant bunnies. What have you got? We've got talking pizza eating turtles. I don't know. Can you make rabbit pizza? Yes, you can.
Yes.
All right then. And then Usagi Yojimbo comes out and is like, no, you cannot. Ha-ha. I am the cutest fucking rabbit samurai and whatever in the world. And you go, oh, he is pretty cute.
He's very cute. Yes, you can. Don't feed it to Jenny.
You killed my teacher.
Because no one suspects the turtles. Except for Coop. Coop totally expects the turtles.
But you will also kill the Jenny if you feed her rabbit pizza.
Are you allergic to rabbit?
Yes.
Oh, that's right. We did discover that. They tried to kill me more today. I was walking. Trader Joe's just wants to put mango in fucking everything these days. So I'm just like, God damn it. What's going on here?
It's summertime. Mango. They tried to put mango in lots of places.
Oh.
Ooh, Stefan, that's a good one.
That would be interesting.
TMNT possessed by the spirits of the four horsemen of the apocalypse.
Now, what would be fun about that is once the turtles are possessed by the four horsemen of the apocalypse, they send in the Fantastic Four to go fight them.
Yes.
Do you know the origin story of the Fantastic Four?
It keeps changing.
No, can you tell me the basic origin story about how the Fantastic Four got their powers? The basic premise, the traditional premise. There's a reason
Are you
I'm asking you
me
this.
because you don't know, or what?
No, I'm just asking you if you know. Like, can you give the 5-sentence synopsis? Either and or both of you. Like,
they take a rocket ship out in space. They encounter a cosmic energy. There's some kind of storm which bombards the ship, and they end up getting powers that are loosely based on the character traits that they're portraying at the time.
okay. Leo did not know the origins of the Fantastic Four, and it became a thing. It is so much of a thing that now If you go look, let me find it on the link.
I
Ben,
mean they have kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Retro. When they go back and retell a story, but they kind of change it.
retcon.
Retcon. That's the word I was looking for. They've kind of retconned a lot of the history of the Fantastic Four. It's changed a lot, and now I think it more or less stands that like Reed Richards is like the smartest man in the galaxy or the universe or something like that, and he created this machine which created his own pocket dimension where he's basically all powerful, and they can go there to conduct business and all that kind of stuff. And I think he and Sue Richards ended up having a son who became like one of the most powerful beings in the Marvel universe. I want to say
I'm
what's
just
his name? Adam. I think his name is Adam.
well, it became such a thing that you can now, if you would like to go over and check out, and I highly recommend you do. He's got some great shirts up right now. But over on TeePublic, the Comics COMIX Paradox podcast has got some shirts up, including 2 different ones that are Fantastic Friends. And it's 4 friends, stolen spaceship, bad shielding, cosmic rays, crash landing. Fantastic.
That pretty much sums it up right there.
Because friends don't let friends not know who the Fantastic Four are and how they started. But they were it was just a fun episode, so or ongoing joke. So yeah. So now I have coming to my house right now. I just ordered my own t-shirt for Fantastic Friends.
Yay!
And I'm gonna have to wear it to explain. Right now I am wearing my Rook shirt from Ghost Machine. Rook Exodus. Cool. Yeah. He controls the crows. Let's see.
Well, good for him.
Yeah. Although the crows really don't like him, even though he has a helmet that controls them, they're like, "We're crows. Fuck you. You are stupid. Why do you not fly?" Because they don't understand. And he's like, "Because I can't fly." And they're like, "Well, you suck. So we aren't going to listen to you because we're crows. You understand this, right?" Why'd I get stuck with the fucking crows? It's a good comic, though. I don't know.
Kind of like Ant-Man has a helmet that controls ants. Ants aren't exactly super geniuses, though. They're sort of a hive mind.
Yeah, but at least they can make them do stuff with the hive mind, because crows are all like, no. Like, we'll hang
Crows
out
aren't really
together.
a hive mind.
No. They all have their own minds. They have other things where it's like, oh, there's the one guy who he controls giant turtles. This guy controls swine. This guy, but swine are terrifying. Giant boars and even just hogs are vicious creatures. If you don't know about them, there's a reason, like, everybody, I use this as an example all the time, but there's a reason why people freaked out in The Wizard of Oz when Dorothy falls into the pig pen at the very beginning, even though there's just a couple of pigs in there, because they will eat you. They are vicious and mean and will chomp at you. And people are like, "Oh, why do they put the moms in these like cages when they have their babies to keep them?" It's like, because they will kill them, or they will lay on them and squish them. So they put them right next to them so that when the mother lays down, they can nurse, but she won't eat them because she can't get her head through to do that.
So who has a helmet that controls swine?
Swine. That was his code
That's his
name.
name?
It wasn't.
Okay.
Well, it was
And
until somebody murdered him.
Oh,
Ursa got kind of cruel in there, so he's trying to collect all the helmets, like Highlander style, so he can control all of the animals on this planet. So
so
it's
how
like,
would that have worked on Rocksteady and Bebop from the Turtles?
given that they weren't the brightest two out in the world, I think it would have affected them somewhat. They would have had a little bit of a higher understanding of what was going on, but these seem to be pretty intelligent animals for the most part, as far as like you can give them kind of directions and they will, like, go kill those things, go eat there, go take a bath. Hey, giant tortoises, we would like to get transportation, so please meet up here at this beach and go other places. Like they can get around like those kind of messages, but the animals also do, like I said, fight with them. Like the person, like, why don't you fly? You need to get out of here. You fly, but I can't fly.
That's not our problem.
Yeah, why? But we are crows. We cannot fight off giant bears for you. We don't want to die. We can fly. So, yeah, we'll distract them a little bit, but then we're going to leave your ass because we aren't going to die because you can't fight a bear. You shouldn't be fighting bears. Well, I'm not trying to fight bears. Then fly. They just don't understand it. And it cracks me up a lot because I'm a crow. And I'm just like, yes, this person is nailing it. Go
That's
read
like
Ghost Fishing comics, guys. Great. It's like, what?
cyclical logic.
Well, yeah. I learned the other day that, okay, I already knew that crows, like, use and make tools, but they have also, they can teach their children or other crows how to make the same kind of tools, and they will, it is known for young crows to steal tools from their parents so they can study them and teach themselves how to make them through just seeing how they had been made. They can find something that had been like wires bent a certain way or things put on stuff, and by just observing the final product they can teach themselves how to make it from the raw materials available.
So you got crows walking around with like lockpick sets and crudely made weapons and
Basically, I mean,
and did you
they've
see the new movie The Crow?
No, I have not had a chance to yet. I was trying to explain the controversy about that movie to my mother, and she was like, she didn't know who Brandon Lee was, and I was trying to explain it to her, and she's like, okay, but wait, Bill Skarsgård is white. And I'm like, yes. And he's not a martial artist. And I'm like, no, he is not. And she's like, then why is he cast in a martial arts film? I'm like, it is not a martial arts film. But Lee, I'm like, we're talking about Brandon Lee, not Bruce Lee or Jet Li. You got to get your Lees right. And yes, I'm like, it worked for the part. I was like, there is some fighting and stuff that goes on, but it's not a martial arts movie. Okay, then why is everybody upset? And I'm just like, oh, because, he died when the movie was being made. Well, it's not like he died on purpose. I was like, yes, this is the point that a lot of people are making. Because some people are like, he died for this role. And it's like, no, he wouldn't have done the role if he knew he was going to die. He wasn't like, this movie is so important that I must do it, even if it's going to cost my life. It was an accident. It was horrible and very tragic. But, and yes, it's his last film, but you can't like make everybody else who ever tries to do anything with the Crow feel like shit because of that. It's a new movie. And it's based off of a comic. That they didn't try to just remake the first one from what I have seen, because you cannot exist without getting some spoilers here or there.
The two movies have absolutely nothing to do with each other. They're not even similar in tone. They're not even similar in storyline. Plots aren't even the same. The only thing that ties them together is the fact that the main characters are named Eric Draven and Shelley. And that's it. Now,
And that's a good way to go.
no, it's not. It's baseless. It's stupid. Leave the Brandon Lee movie alone. This is not a remake. Hell, it's not even a re-envisioning. You've had 5 Crow movies up to this point. All of them have introduced a different Crow character. All of the stories have been independent of each other. If you're going to have a franchise where you are coming up with new characters and new stories, then why the fuck would you make a complete whole new movie and then give them the same names as the original characters? You're not re-envisioning, you're not reinventing. You could have just left this as another movie in the franchise with a whole different Crow that did not have to be Eric or Shelley.
I thought a lot of the big point of it was to base it more off of the comic and have their relationship be more of a focus than the actual supernatural kind of stuff that came into being and to play with it. So it was like they didn't want to do yet another episode of the franchise, but they didn't want to remake the original one either. So they just took the comic basis and made a movie out of it instead of.
That's
And
fine. You can still make the comic basis, just change the damn character names. That's all you had to do. It's like you had one job. All you had to do was change the character names. You could have kept the same story, made everything the same as the comic, just changed the names. That way you're not marring or besmirching the memory of Brandon Lee.
I mean, I see where you're coming from, but at the same time, and even though I identify with crows and I like crows, and I was a child of the right age at that time, I think I've seen the movie twice. So it wasn't one of those like things that, because a lot of people of my age and like tendencies in movie liking and stuff are like, it's a masterpiece. They watch it 3 times a year or something like that. And I'm just like, oh, I saw it once and then I've seen other bits and pieces of it when it's been on again.
What movie?
Had a good soundtrack,
Crow.
The Crow.
The original Brandon Lee, The Crow.
Oh, okay.
So I have no attachment to it, I guess, is why to me it's like, okay. I mean, like I am a huge fucking Hellraiser fan. I love Hellraiser. And they
You
just
noticed.
remade Hellraiser and it's supposed to be starting off, like it's not following the exact same setup, but they like changed. Pinhead is no longer Doug Bradley. I mean, he has other ones where he
Mhm.
hasn't been in them because they weren't paying him enough or they just had ridiculous things that they asked of him or he just didn't want to because he didn't like the script. But I'm not freaking out about it. I'm like, you know what? They did some actually cool things and they did some smart things and they had, Clive Barker involved in it. And I thought it was okay. I thought it was beyond okay. I thought it was a pretty good movie. And they kept like some of the same roles, but they gave them different actors and entirely different kind of background things around them. And I was okay with it. I mean, like that's one for me that is on par with how some people relate to The Crow, I think. And I guess it's just to me it didn't.
Well, the movie,
I haven't
if
seen the new one,
if
but
they had changed the character names and given, other than Eric and Shelley, if they had given them their own names and just use it as another film in the franchise, so that people aren't making the comparisons between Bill Skarsgård and Brandon Lee, let it stand on its own without any kind of comparisons, the movie would still have been just as good. In fact, probably one of the better movies in the series. But because they made the mistake of giving them the original character names, I think they shot themselves in the foot. And
But you
now
are saying that it is a good movie.
It is a good movie, yes.
Okay.
I did like it.
Okay. And like I said, I do see your point on where they're going to get a ton of shit because fans are like rabid over, you know, you can't make this any better, and he died. And yeah, that's...
I will say that Bill Skarsgård is jacked like a mofo in this movie.
I have never seen him disappoint, and some of the clips that I've seen, like I haven't seen the movie yet, but I've seen clips where they're like, we've all seen the trailer, I'm assuming, and if it's in the trailer, it's not a spoiler because you can go watch the trailer. But when he's walking up the stairs and just getting shot over and over and over, the like percussive suit or whatever that he was wearing to do that, and seeing like the kind of behind the scenes shoot where he's walking up and just getting hit over and over and over with it, basically, that looked pretty badass. Like, that had to take some training to figure out how to balance yourself right and throw yourself without throwing yourself all the way down the stairs doing that.
Yeah. He's not like huge jacked man buff. He's not like Wolverine buff or big muscles and all of that. But
yeah, he
is
smaller,
lithe, and he is ripped, and he put in a lot of time, I think, trying to get lean and jacked for this movie. And it shows. There's one scene where he does like a shirtless scene, and you can just like see the muscles. It's like, God damn. It's like, you go, boy.
He's always had the somewhat lean, lithe figure. I don't know how jacked he had to get for a lot of his other, like, he got super emaciated when he was the boy in what was the Stephen King miniseries that they ran for a while, Castle Rock. Because he was the prisoner in that. But
I think I watched like the first episode. I haven't seen the whole thing.
I watched the first season, and then I think they changed it to something else, like The Shining thing or whatever, and I was like, nah. Not The Shining. What is it? I'm the one that Annie Potts played in, where she was his biggest fan, and it's the author, and she hobbles him. And
Misery?
Yeah, I think didn't they go to Misery after they did the first Castle Rock? Wasn't that the next kind of setup for the season 2?
Misery was its own movie. I don't know what they did with Castle Rock because I never watched the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm just trying to... I think they went to whatever her character was, though, and like, because she was in more than just Misery. She was a character in a couple other things, and she always, like, she'd kidnapped a girl, and either that or she'd kidnapped her own daughter or something, and convinced her that traveling nurse, that she was a traveling nurse, and that all nurses were traveling nurses, so they could never stay in one place for very long, because she had to always be going to the next town so that they wouldn't get caught, basically. And she called her Little Love a lot. It was, Little Love, do this. I don't like a lot of instances where Stephen King's characters are particularly like mothers, or the gal that was all worried about her dog and Tommyknockers. The way that they speak is very uneducated and weirdly backwoods religious, like, is a lot of, I think, how the female characters speak. And I'm not being like, oh, he does this because they're girls. Some of the guys speak that way as well, but it's just, he has this really weird women's voice that he uses often. Like Carrie's mom, and all, like, they aren't all that extreme when it's like, oh
And-
yeah, dirty pillows. Oh, no, they're all gonna. She's horrible, but she's kind of an extreme version. But they all have these weird like things that go with them a lot. I don't know. What do you think, Friday?
I can definitely agree with the voices of the women. I can't really add anything to the Crow conversation or a lot of the comic book conversations that you guys have had so far, but I definitely agree that a lot of the women have a more less intelligent tone or more of a heavily I believe this so it should be tone. But if you go into things like the Dark Tower series, a lot of the guys have they all have the same type of educational tone in those stories when you get to certain cities.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
don't know which ones you've read and haven't read.
Dark Tower. I've only read. I think the first or first. It's been long enough that I can't remember. I didn't get through it. I know that much.
I think I started on the first book for Dark Tower, and I couldn't quite get into it because it sort of just jumps right into it, and there's not a lot of explanation from the outset to let you know what the hell is going on.
You don't get that till the fourth book. You get a lot more information in the fourth book about him. Up until then, you get a lot more story about the other characters. But I've only read like 5 of them and only recently book 3 because I like it more.
I did
We
listen
had a
to the
very
audiobook for Fairy Tale, and I thought that was pretty decent.
Awesome. I haven't read it yet. What were you saying,
haven't
Del?
read that one either. Oh, we had an interesting discussion about which those of us who haven't read it were kind of like, mm. But about how he ended the Dark Tower series and how he could have made it all completely better by changing like a couple of letters. I'm not going to get into it because it's not my theory. I haven't read it, but Brandon had a really good like way to summarize the entire series, explain it to us, and then explain how it could have ended better. And it was really interesting. But like I said, since I haven't read all of it, I can't explain it, and it's not my theory, so I don't want to like step on toes there. But it does sound like after you read all of it, you finally get the explanations that you're looking for, but it takes a long time to get there. And sometimes I don't have Stephen King patience.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say that. I don't know if I've got the patience to stay with it that long. It's kind of different. Like, all right, uh, not getting into the side topic because I'm sure that as soon as I mention the author name, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But L. Ron Hubbard's Battlefield Earth. We're not talking about anything else other than just a book for Battlefield Earth. Now, I know it was made into a movie with John Travolta, and you can have whatever opinions about the movie that you want. But I did read all of Battlefield Earth when I was in high school, and it is a rather large book. It comes in just under 1,100 pages.
Nice.
There is, of course, a lot of political exposition because you find out a lot more about like the politics of the cyclo race and then all of the like political games and the backstabbing and the secrets that people are keeping the cyclos on the planet Earth because they're doing this mining operation. And Terrell, the uh, main cyclo character of the book, uh, he's not a good guy. And I think that uh, John Travolta does a pretty good job of conveying that in the movie, that he's not a good guy, but he's extremely smart. But it does go into a background about Johnny Goodboy Tyler, the leader of the rebels. Uh, I think that the person that they got to play him in the movie, who's for the life of me, and whose name I can't remember, uh, was a little too young for the role because he looked like he was maybe in his mid-20s. And in the book, he comes across like a little older than that, a little more mature, a little wiser, uh, for leading the rebels against the Cyclos. And he's not book smart because this is after the fall of mankind, so there aren't really any books. But he's very street smart, or life smart. He's because of his experiences, and he's a good hunter, so he's a good strategist, a survivalist. And I think that that's portrayed a little better in the book than it is in the movie. They don't delve into Johnny's character a lot. He just sort of does things and it works out in everybody's favor. But they go into a lot more detail within the book, So it's a little easier to stay with something, to be patient, to get to the end of it when you kind of have an idea of what's going on all the way through. So with like the Dark Tower series, if you're just thrown into it and you don't really get any explanation until what you said, book 4, I'm not going to stay with it that long. You need to give me something to work with that's going to make me want to stay with the series. Battlefield
You
Earth
get
is a long book, but
things.
at least I know what's going on. I know what the premise is. I know what the plot is going all the way through the book. I'm not trying to second guess what exactly is going on.
I found with the first one, it took me about 2 tries to get through. But when I finally got through it and then I started with the second one, you jump into that and you get the backstories of the different people as you go through. And I stayed more because I liked the side characters, the drawing characters that he did. And as you see their stories fold, you see more about who Rowan is and what he is. And you get bits and pieces of things he told of his life as he thinks about what had happened in his past. You just don't get the majority of his early story until you get to book 4. But you do get more about them and more about what is and what happened as you go through. But it doesn't really get good until you get to, I think it was, I'm not sure if Lud. I think Lud was the town until you get to that first town where he is. And then you get more hooked into the story because you get more about him, you get more about what's happening. It's just getting to there is the hard part. And then from there, I've really enjoyed the series. I just keep getting distracted, which is why I've only done about 5 of the books. And I just really knew that I disliked a lot of the characters from his past in book 4. Because that one I think was harder for me as a person to get through than book 1. But you get so much more about him and about his early life compared to just the bits and pieces about how he was trained or how certain people died in his life, and it just takes a while to get into because, yeah, it builds.
Well, you could like take Anne Rice's Interview with the Vampire series. And we get Interview with the Vampire. It talks about Lewis and how he meets Lestat, and Lestat introduces him to basically the underground vampires with Armand and Magnus, was it? I think, and Akasha, all that. And then you get Vampire Lestat, second book, which basically gives Lestat's background, how he became a vampire in his life. So, he might come across like an asshole in the first book, but in the second book, when you start learning more about Lestat, he becomes, more of the lovable anti-hero, and it starts to make sense of what his reasoning and rationale and why he behaves the way that he does, and then Queen of the Damned, where Lestat is more or less like the center of the story. I think Lewis shows up just briefly at some point, but he's not really that much in the story. And I think beyond that, there are a couple other books in the series, like Mim Knocked the Devil, and
Love that one.
what was the other one?
Pandora was good.
And there's also Tale of the Body Thief, which was kind of a side story for Lestat. It was sort of out of the realm of the whole Interview with the Vampire series, but sort of a standalone. But you still have like David Talbot as being one of the characters in the books, but it's like a Lestat side story. So all of this stuff that happens, they are sort of standalone, but you read them and you can sort of identify with that character, and it starts to make more sense. And then when you put all of it together into one bigger picture, then you're immersed in this world, this universe. And it doesn't seem like that's the case that you're telling me with Dark Tower. You have to invest a lot of time before you get to that point where you're fully invested. Like, okay, I get it now.
I wasn't fully invested until the second book. And then you go back and you realize more as it builds on the little pieces of his life, that of why he is the way he is. It is like that, like you described, but it just takes time to jump in. Well, at least for me from the first book.
It's reminding me of my issues with Supernatural. Well, people are like, oh, just wait until season 2 or 3. I'm like, I watched 19 episodes and I could not get invested, and I didn't even get through an entire season. I'm done. That's
that's fine.
That's curious though, because at the beginning of Supernatural, you set up your characters for Sam and Dean Winchester, and they're still basically developing storyline. So it's what they call, trying to find their walking legs, or, trying to find their sea legs. So a lot of the first season are them traveling around handling what we consider urban myths: the Lady in White, Bloody Mary, Hook Hand, and all of that. That's essentially a lot of what the first season is. But after they find their walking legs or sea legs, they start getting their audience. Then you start to see them expand the story outward and start bringing in other characters. And they're like, now you've got some crack writers on the ball coming up with their own individual storylines. So it's not just them busting these urban legends anymore. Now there's something at stake, and it's basically a battle between good and evil, and the angels aren't, these purely good denizens of light as we tend to think of angels. Some of them are downright assholes, and then like even the demons that we all think of them that they would be evil and they always have evil intentions and all of that. Some of them aren't as bad as they appear, and
Yeah,
can be rather helpful in times. But you actually got to get to that point because it does really start getting good after a period of time.
it's just too long. Like
Exactly.
I got spoiled with Buffy with because that found its feet right away. You know, Buffy didn't take like 15 episodes, 20 episodes to get on there. They just like, okay, here we're going to introduce the characters, but we're jumping right into everything at once. You know, and it builds later, but it also stood on its own right off the bat. Same with what was the Three Sisters one? Was it just called The Craft? Was it the same as the
It
movie
was
or
called
Charmed.
Charmed.
So
Thank
I knew
you.
it was a C. Thank you. Yeah. Charmed, you know, the power of three and, you know, things are added, but it landed right off the bat. And I was just like, okay, I can get with this. I can deal with this. It's like when I'm watching soap operas. I haven't done that for like 20 years or so, but back when I used to, if I couldn't get into a soap opera and start following the storyline, you know, and these storylines are some that have been going on for like 40 years, you know, this family's in charge of whatever. But if you can't get it within like a week of watching some episodes, like not every intricate detail, but you can't start catching up with things, then it's like, there's no point. You know, I'm not going to get into this show.
I think with Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the difference between that and Supernatural is with Supernatural, I don't think they had a clear idea of what the whole story was going to be from before they started. And that's why they started with the urban legends, because they knew they could at least get a show off the ground with that. With Buffy, I have a feeling they probably had a pretty good idea of what the story arc was going to be even before they started writing. And then it was just a matter of how do we flesh this out so that we get there.
Yeah.
Charmed, I think, was probably the same way because they had a premise. I don't think that they quite knew where they were going with it, but they had to set up, these are our rules of magic. As long as we stay within these rules, then we can start developing the stories around them. And they might have had an original story arc that they may have gone with, but with Shannon Doherty leaving the show and then having to find a replacement for her so that they could still do the rule of three, that sort of changed. All right, well, this was our original story arc, but now we can't do that because we don't have what was her name, Prue?
True.
Yeah. We don't have Prue anymore. We need to find another sister. So, okay, who can we get? And they had to do this pretty quick. And that's when Rose McGowan came in. But then they had to create a whole reason why there was another sister out there, Paige Matthews. You know, they had to create a whole nother reason for her to be out there, you know, and then bring her into the show. And originally when it started with Rose McGowan joining the show as Paige, like she had no idea that witchcraft existed and didn't really believe in any of it, and you know, or that she had powers or anything like that until she was introduced to Phoebe and Piper, you know, or Holly Combs and Alyssa Milano. So after they brought her in, figure out, okay, is this chemistry going to work between these three ladies? Can we move the story along from here? What are their backstories? Then how can we make them like independent, but still work together as a cohesive team? And I thought that they did that really well. And then, you know, you start bringing in, what was the demon's name?
She dated?
Julian something. What was the demon's name?
Can't remember,
It's
and
been
I
a long
should. And I named my kid after one of the sisters, and I can't remember the demon's name.
Barbas?
I am that dead on my feet.
No. What was it? Julian, the guy that played on Nip Tuck. Played the doctor on Nip Tuck after Charmed. Whatever
Oh,
the
you're
demon
talking
was.
about the actor name.
Yeah. The actor, I think his name
Cole?
was Julian. What's that?
Cole
Cole.
Turner?
Yeah.
No, that doesn't sound right. Well, that might have been his
That's the one
character
that
name, but I don't remember
that
the demon name.
that married the trying to see. Julian McMahon.
Julian McMahon. Okay. And what was his demon character name?
Cole Turner. He was the human alter ego of the now vanquished demon Balthazar.
That's it. Okay, that's what I was trying to think of.
Okay.
So they brought him in to be kind of like a love interest, I think, for Phoebe at one point, because she didn't know he was a demon to start with. But then,
Yeah.
that led into a whole another storyline developing. So once they found like their walking legs or sea legs and figured out that the chemistry was going to work, it's like, okay, we've got something here. Where do we want to go with it? And then they've got the whole storyline at that point. And I think that's what happened with Supernatural as well. They figured out we've got something here. Now where can we go with it? And that's when they started developing the storyline. But you got to get past like the first season to get to that point. And it sounds to me like that's what Friday is saying about Dark Tower.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
See, I
just
was trying to
taking
make
a
a
lot of
point.
time to get
The
there.
wrong way to get around it.
Yeah, but it was a good point. I enjoyed the point. I even named my kid after part of the point.
And now I earned my geekdom card for tonight from my explanation.
I love you more now.
Good job.
Because I have this random knowledge in my head about this stuff. And it's been a long time since I've actually watched it.
Yeah,
I'm so much
that like
I feel like I've lost my mind.
Charmed was like just a fun show to watch, you didn't have to get too serious. You could just sit back and like watch a marathon, and even if you couldn't follow if you hadn't seen part of the upcoming, you could just, oh, okay. Yeah, we'll go with that. That's pretty good. Okay. Same with Buffy. Like there was that whole Xena was out around that time too. There was just a kind of a whole thing that you could just groups of shows that you could just binge watch brain dead too, I think, but they were fun. They had
I
some
don't
established
I
stuff
think
behind them.
Xena actually preceded all of that. I don't remember when Buffy came out, but I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
it did.
Xena was around 96 or so. And I thought, well, maybe Buffy did come around about that time, because I think the original movie Buffy the Vampire Slayer was like 91 or 92, somewhere around there. So maybe the original series did come out around that time. No, I'm not sure.
Let's
Did you
see.
guys ever watch the Beauty and the Beast series with Ron Perlman?
With Ron Perlman. I saw
A little
episodes
bit.
of it, but I haven't like binge watched the whole series. Although I'd like to. I thought that was a pretty decent one too. I don't think it ran that many seasons though.
3.
3 seasons. That's what I thought.
Xena, yeah. Xena was 95. Buffy came out in 97.
Okay.
So it wasn't too far away, But yeah, those were all just kind of easy. That's before we had all the huge cable networks coming out with all of their own shows and stuff, which we've been spoiled with too, because we get things like The Wizards and Lock and Key, and these great like things that they took from books or comic books and have the whole pre-established thing. But like, God damn it.
I watched a series on Netflix called Dead Boy Detectives, which I thought was pretty good. I think it comes from books as well, but I don't know if they're going to end up doing another season of it or not.
I don't know, but speaking of books, you remember that little video we talked about last episode where you guys would send me videos
Oh yeah.
answering my question?
Yes.
I already sent you guys the video
Okay. And you
collectively.
need us to respond to it.
Please. And you will be tagged.
And
I'll have to go back and look. I don't remember.
It was a
yes.
video of eyes looking through blinds.
Okay.
And I was wrong. I didn't mean the wizards. I meant the magicians with Hale Apple and company. They had one of the best musical style shows, I think, because it wasn't a musical show, but they had enough talented singers in it that they had a lot of musical episodes, or at least they would break out into song every now and then on an episode. And they had a spell that would unite them all so they all knew when to sing and what their part was and stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool. I like to watch their videos sometimes because they are quite talented.
I think that was like a random trait for TV shows at the time. There's almost always one completely musical episode because they did the same thing in Xena,
Mhm.
and I know that they did it in Buffy, and I'm fairly certain they did it in Supernatural at one point.
I think my favorite song in Xena was when they met oh, what's his name's brother? He had all the brothers that followed him around and or not follow, but they would encounter and they were like at some music festival and they had the like heavy metal, like basically like Mongolians chasing Xena around and singing Always Something There to Remind Me. And she'd be like walking through the jungle and they'd suddenly be like, there is always something there to remind me. And like, I was born to love you, girl. And it was just like, what the fuck is going on? And I loved it. Loved it, loved it. Don't know why. It was just 'cause it
Random
was just
musical
so
episodes are
weird.
just so. I don't really understand them. I mean, they're amusing and they're entertaining, but they're so like, are they even that necessary? When you can set them up and explain them that this is a thing, then yeah, I mean, uh, give it a reason why this is actually happening. Then yeah, it makes sense. Like some kind of spell has been cast, and you know, it makes people sing and all of that.
Running
Uh,
joke.
okay, fine. I will play along with that, but for the most part, I think that you know, random musical episodes is not really a necessary thing. But they're
If
fun
you
to
have
watch.
yeah, I enjoy them. Well, if they're done well. Like with the magicians, they'd sometimes use it to get in sync with each other. You know, they'd be in different dimensions, but able to contact each other. It was like, okay, we all need to be focused on one thing at the same time. So we're gonna sing some Queen now. All right, everybody got it? Go.
They kind of did poke fun at that in the new Captain Marvel movie, where they go to this one planet where song is their language. If you want people to understand you, you have to sing. That was the new Captain Marvel movie that just came out recently, and then like the guy that's the ruler of the planet where their language is song, he just starts speaking straight English. And the girl that plays Ms. Marvel's like, what? So, you know, we're not singing now? And Captain Marvel goes, he's bilingual.
That's funny. I enjoy that. I enjoy that a lot. That is a clever little. Wait,
It's hilarious because you don't even need it to begin. But the fact that they put it in there, I just felt like it was sort of poking fun at all of those episodes where you have random musical episodes for no reason whatsoever.
I was trying to suggest to the gents that next year at Terrificon we come up with like little song parodies about different cosplayers that we know are going to be there. Like there's always going to be, you know, like a Deadpool. There's always going to be these characters and stuff, and like come up with songs, and then as we're walking down the hall, suddenly like break into song and do a little dance around them or something, and then just be like looking
Like
around
flash
at other
mob.
people like why aren't yeah, but just be like looking at the people like come on, it's your
What are you
line.
saying?
It's your line, you know? Yeah, and just be like, pretend that we're
Off
living in
guard.
a musical and we can't figure out why the rest of the con isn't living in the musical with us, and they think I stayed up too late. But
That's actually a really funny
I
idea.
love
I
it.
think you should do that. Get a couple people that are
have the
down for it
microphone,
in your line.
yeah, have the microphone just like put it to the next person that's standing beside you that's just walking by. Be like, dude, no, backpedal. Then you just do the, and then this, you know, yeah. Okay, Jesus, why weren't you at rehearsal?
You have to get somebody to film the whole thing so
I
that
love
you can like put this on the internet and go viral and all of that.
Yeah. I've been trying to find. They had a couple flash mobs this year where they taught them all the Deadpool bye dance, and they had a bunch. They had a bunch of Deadpools of various offshoots, and they also had just regular cosplayers doing it. There was like a Wonder Woman and a Joker and a bunch of different people that were all doing it, but it was like 90% humidity, and even though it never quite broke 80 degrees, it was just like inside or out, you're just walking through a fug, you know?
Yeah.
And like these poor people that were standing outside dancing for like 2 hours as they'd teach new people, and some people would come in and some people would go out, and everybody had their phones on them. I'm just like, dude, I do not know how you're surviving. I'm sitting over here in the shade on a wall with a cigarette, and like I'm sweating just because the humidity. I did not use the bathroom for like 2 of the 3 days at Terrificon because I sweat out all of the intake that I had of hydration, just chugging down bottles of water and sweating.
Yeah,
And
that's not
I don't know why. That was the only license plate I noticed. The one that said "fug."
fugly.
that's how I describe it. I think because that is when and I've only been to a con twice, and it's been the same one with mostly the same people, although less of them this year. But that when you get in the middle of the group there, and sometimes there's just this random, like you could almost picture the swirl of the odor coming at you, you know, that it's like transported through the breaths and the humidity and the stuff, and it's like wafting over these people's breath that are heavying down the air because and it gets to you and you're just like, oh Jesus Christ.
It's
Did you
basically
know
fog meet funk. Fug.
Yes.
when you can do that while you're walking around a city? That was interesting.
Yes, I forgot to mention the humidity to you, but I figure you're
And it
kind
was
of
raining, and
if
it was like, wow.
every time I step inside of a building in New Orleans, my glasses are just like you can't see now.
Because of the air conditioning and the meets the
Yeah.
humidity. Yeah, I
Oh
get that
yeah.
a lot.
It was just every time you step in, you might as well just take them off because there's no sense in it.
Yep.
And then you go sit outside, and then you go in to get something, and you're just like, fuck, I can't see. Where's all this condensation coming from? I don't get it. Oh, the air I'm breathing is basically like walking through the rain, only it's not visible drops.
Except for the
And I mean,
first thing, it was visible. and nobody
I mean,
cared.
I'm in Nebraska, and we get pretty goddamn bad humidity here, and it's like it's no joke, man. But some of the people who live near the water, it gets terrible. Oh, and Nook, you've had both. Okay, Nook's living in a place where there is no humidity right now.
It's going through a
Yes.
minefield. No, it's tiptoeing through a
Wait,
bowl of soup.
which do you prefer,
Yes.
Nook? The Nebraska humidity or the lack of humidity where you are now? Because both have.
Because lack.
I'm not calling out your city in case you don't want people to know where you're living right now, but
No, that's fine. It's just one of those. Oh, you have lack. That would be amazing.
Not Ohio. Ohio is very humid too.
and Pennsylvania. Take the humidity. All right.
I think that's
Yeah,
fair.
that was something. I came when I went and visited my Joshua before
Yeah,
in
Arizona.
Phoenix, and I came back. Yeah, he's. Oh, you do it.
I figured it was Arizona.
Sorry, we both-
Arizona will give you lizard skin because of how hot it is and all the sun and everything, but because there's no humidity that keeps your skin moist, you just got dry skin all the time unless you're using moisturizers, and you basically end up with lizard skin.
Yeah, I noticed that like I was fine there though in like 115-degree heat
sorry.
if I was in the shade. But if the sun, like I had my sandals on and I was sitting outside having a cigarette and I was underneath the awning and my toe, suddenly the sun was moving through the sky and it like landed on part of my foot that was exposed from the sandal. And yes, I did. And that is frightening. Um, but it touched the toe on my sandal. And I was like, I am going to combust. Holy shit. This is the most painful thing ever. And it was just the sun touching me. Like just peeking on my toe. I was like, oh my God. It's like I've been under a magnifying glass. I'm gonna explode like ants or something really soon. Fuck.
That's why you see people in Arizona when it's like 110 degrees outside, they're wearing long sleeves and jackets. They figured it out.
Yeah.
Sun's hot. Sun's hot.
Oof. Okay. Let me pull this if I can find them. Hold on. Might take me a second. Come on. Oh, wait. Scroll. Carry on. I'm just.
Dude, it has been hot and humid and randomly rainy here. And this is like the first time it's been a night where it's got below 80. And I'm confused. It is 66 degrees outside. And I don't know what's going on.
Ohio was the same because on Friday it was like 86 degrees, hot and humid. I wake up Saturday morning, go to the gym, it's 53. It dropped like 30 degrees overnight. And the wind was
How'd that
blowing.
happen?
It felt like fall weather out there. I mean, today it did get up
Nice.
into the 60s, but still, that's 20 degrees cooler than what it was on Friday. And this is just over the course of the weekend. I have no idea what the weather's supposed to be like this coming week, but it was like, that's a drastic change. It wasn't very humid either.
Oh,
Had a nice breeze, so it felt pretty good.
I do have a question, and it's not making fun. It's for learning process, for the learning curve, because am trying to learn more. Is there a meaning behind pink? I think it's called kata. Your pink outfit that you train in, or do you just really like it?
My pink gi?
Oh.
Yeah, you're gi. I don't know why I confused gi and kata. Ugh, I need a nap.
Kata is form. Kata is
Yeah,
you know,
that's why
uh,
I'm. That's why I was confused. I'm like, why is my brain? I know it's not kata, but I want to call it kata. You were doing katas when I saw it, but
I do kata in a
you're
gi.
gi. Yeah, you were doing the katas and the gi. But is there a
Yeah.
meaning behind the pink gi, or do you just
Yes.
like the pink gi,
Both.
or both?
It's both.
Can you explain the meaning? And
Yes, I can.
we love the gi because you made my kid happy that there was a way to wear pink gi.
The organization in Japanese is called the Kokusai Shinkoten Karate Kubodo Kai, which translates to International Neoclassical Karate Kubodo Society or Association, or as we abbreviate it, the INKKS, International Neoclassical Karate Kubodo Society, INKKS, which we lovingly call INKS, INKKS. So when we were setting up INKS and forming our board of directors and all of that, we were discussing whether or not we wanted to have our own patches or if we should have any kind of team uniforms or anything like that. And me, being somewhat of a sarcastic bastard, said very much tongue in cheek, I want a pink gi. No particular reason for it other than inks and pinks. I want a pink gi with a pink camouflage belt. I took it one step further by looking up online to see if I could actually find a pink camouflage belt. I found the pink gi, but I could not find a pink camouflage martial arts belt. They do not exist.
So it's heart.
So I had it made. I bought a white belt and basically had it tie-dyed in various shades of pink. So now I have a pink gi with a pink camouflage belt. Uh, I don't know if people thought I was being serious when I said this, but I've basically, gotten to that point in my life where I don't really care what other people think because these are the kinds of things that I can do that people would expect of me just because I'm weird and I can get away with it. So I started thinking about it. Wearing a pink gi is either a really good idea or a really bad idea. It's a bad idea because people might go, "What are you, queer or you fairy or you know wearing pink, a little girly or whatever." And then
But
it's
you
a
are
matter
part of the
of
fake whore.
what's that?
You are part of the fake whore.
True,
And that has nothing to do with your sexuality.
but I am not a fake whore.
It's true.
I am all whore,
It
baby.
never
I am not a fake whore. I am all whore.
it never occurred to me
Oh.
that you were well, let me put it this way. It didn't matter to me what your sexuality was. It never blipped on the radar because I just wanted to hear your stories.
Well, then that's where it could be a good thing. If people see you wearing a pink gi, then they might think that's a badass right there. If he's confident enough in his abilities that he can wear a pink gi and get away with it, nobody's going to mess with me. And then
Whereas for
those
us,
Okay,
who
so
say you're wearing a pink gi, do I challenge this guy? Then I can prove it.
So Nook
I
is
am
asking you,
training
what are
in-
you training in? Judo, BJJ?
Well, as I explained, Shinkoten Karate or Neoclassical Karate. My original training is in American Open Style Karate with a basis in Shotokan and Shito-ryu, and has grown to not really have any limits. So anything that I can learn that I think would progress me as a martial artist, it's all pretty much fair game to me. So it doesn't really matter what the style is. Because martial arts to me is martial arts. Punch is a punch, a kick is a kick. Anything that can make me a better fighter is really all that really matters. I'm not concerned about style at this point. I'm
And
concerned at
speaking
being
of a
able to
kick,
defend myself. Speaking of a kick,
this is what happens when you wear shoes. And speaking of kick, this is what happens when you wear shoes in Arizona.
Yes.
uh-huh.
Wow.
That dude's wearing socks without socks.
Yes.
Oh, we're not mad.
Yeah,
Nah.
he's pretty much as white as I am
Yes.
normally. When he lived in Nebraska, we had the same like pallid sort of thing going on. But yeah,
Well,
And look at it this way.
tan.
Yeah.
I just
he's
explode.
got the like the red above the ankle, and then the foot is basically all white. That's kind of how I look all over, just all white, no tan lines. I don't even have the red, so
Me too.
that's pretty much just about majority of people in Ohio. We're pasty ass white motherfuckers.
And this way you're showing
Nebraska's farm tan.
people of all ages. You can wear just about any color that makes you happy. Us
Yeah.
too.
It's not a matter. It's not trying to make any kind of bigger statement other than I feel confident enough and comfortable enough in my own skin that I can wear a pink gi and nobody's gonna mess with me. Nobody's gonna bother me. Nobody's even gonna question it.
And everybody's
it's
going to
all
know who you
because of-
are.
Yeah, it's all because of inks and pinks, and that's pretty much how it started. Just inks and pinks.
You have that one side of you, and then you have the haunter side, and all the different costumes you dress up for that.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a varying range from pirate to nurse to anything else you can think of.
Yeah, I've done a little bit of everything with that as far as haunting goes. So far, I'm still the only one that has a pink gi within inks, and whether or not it'll catch on, probably not. I think I'll probably still be the only one that has a pink gi, and I'm perfectly fine with that. You know, I kind of hope it stays that way, that I am the only one with a pink gi. There was a Das Nuke might know this if he's familiar with BJJ, but there was a guy named Judo Gene LaBelle that also wore a pink gi top. But his story is a little different than mine. His was just kind of a mistake because he went to a tournament in Japan. He had a white gi, and then there was an incident with the laundry where it ended up getting washed with something that was red, and the dye from the red stained his gi pink, and he didn't have time to get a new gi. So he went out there and he competed in the pink gi, and it set him apart, and people started recognizing him because of it. So he continued wearing the pink gi. You know, I am not trying to be Gene LaBelle in this case. I'm trying to be Ron, being as weird and as unpredictable as Ron can be. So pink has sort of become a primary color for me.
I've
And
noticed, because I wondered that too. When she finally asked you, I was like, "Yeah, why is Ron into pink?" Like, not that there's anything wrong with pink. I'm just
No.
I know a number of people who really enjoy pink, and it's a
Well,
good color.
This
It's
one-
not a
color.
color I can wear.
So I have the pink gi, but I got a hoodie made.
Oh, let's.
That is awesome. And you inspire children to try kata in their kitchens.
So I got
Kitchen kata.
the logo screen printed on the
Kitchen
back,
kata.
and then I have one of our patches on the front.
That is cool.
So this will be what I mostly wear, going out and all of that. And the jacket, the gi jacket, is basically for training, but this is just for wearing in general when I go out.
Nice.
Oh, look, I have a matching hat and shirt.
I wear mostly black all the time. Everything. It's so hard going through my laundry because I'm that shitty person that does my laundry and then takes it out, and I have a king size bed. So I put it all at the foot of my bed, and then it's like, now that I no longer have the cats, that's the clothes can live there. And so I'm like, okay, time to find a pair of pants.
Yeah, I do
Oh,
the same
here's a
thing.
pair of pants. They're black.
I still throw my laundry on my bed, but it's only a queen size.
Or I have bags of it on the floor as well, like that's clean, or off to go to the laundry. But yeah, oh, thank you. Yeah, Hinata's right here. She still hangs out,
Sad.
but yeah,
Sad face emoticon.
love my Hinata girl and Yeti. But yeah, I need whenever I'm trying to find a specific shirt, I'm fucked because I'm like, okay, I have like 3 gray shirts, and then I have a couple things in sage green, or depending on what color palette you were going by, it's either a sage green or it's grape leaves.
Do you have this
Don't know
problem?
about that, but
Do you have this problem with your laundry where when you are not looking for a specific item of clothing, it is right there? It's at the freaking top of the pile. You can just like pull it off. But you're not wearing it now. You don't wear it now. So you come back a couple days later, now you want to wear it, but it's not there. It has disappeared.
I have a shirt. I have a black shirt, obviously, with a gold ankh on it. And it's because, like, well, not only my ankh recently broke, so I don't have my ankh with me right now. But I usually wear an ankh at all points in time. I got the Anubis, so I'm just letting that fill in for a while. But I got it because my neurologist goes by Ra Neurological, and it's his initials, but he uses the Eye of Ra for his thing, and they like have Egyptian Fridays where they all wear Egyptian stuff to work. And I got it because I had a doctor's appointment, and I like onks anyway, so it's like it's something I will wear outside of just a doctor. I didn't buy a shirt just for a doctor's appointment, but I saw it and I was like, ooh, I need to get that. And I lost it like 6 months ago, and I have seen it in my laundry. I've seen it at my mother's house in the laundry. I have washed it at least twice since I lost it and put it in with somewhere to go, and I cannot find it. It's like, I swear I took it home the one time, and then I saw it at my mother's again. So it's like, okay, I'm going to throw it in the wash again. And then packed up clothes and brought them here, and they're still not, it's not here. It's not there. The dresser fucking people took it, and they replaced it with that goddamn gray and white windbreaker that's in like a size teeny bopper. And I don't know why.
I can't figure it out. As soon as I need something, that's when I can't find it in my laundry, and I will like pull shit out of bins and everywhere. Like, where did it go? Where did it go? And I cannot find it. I'm like,
I know that feeling. I was having that feeling earlier. I couldn't find my comfy pants, and then I walk out the door earlier for a second, and they're like right there out of nowhere, and I'm like, why?
Yeah,
And
I've got. Sorry, I got a
I
bunch
have
of comfy
that-
pants.
Me too.
But
I've had
I get a
fire
lot of
shit
shit from Chico's.
Chico's?
Yeah, my mom's a big Chico's person because they do petite because she's so short. And it's one of the few places, and I have to wear some of their petite sometimes because I always think of petite as around, and it's like, no, it's your height. So you can get like a large size petite so that I'm not walking around. Because like I ordered Fisher Fineries, and I really, really recommend them. They have great clothing, very high quality. But if you do it and you're as short as I am, order the petite because I have pants that are like they cover my foot and go into my sand, like they are a sock on top of being pants. But mom orders a lot
I
of
think it's
Chicos, and I'm over. I'm a size or 2 now because mom's been she man, my mom burns calories. She is all over the place all the time. Her Fitbit, like, she's got 400 zone minutes in one day, and they're like, oh, you need 20. Well, you did your whole month today. Okay. Do more tomorrow because you just proved that you can. Fuck you, ha. And so I get her hand-me-downs sometimes if they're my size, but she buys me all these Chico's things. But the thing is she buys herself the same Chico's things. So we have to like say things like there's very specific shirts. Like it's one thing if we both show up wearing like solid black, that happens all the time, or I'm wearing a black t-shirt with something on it. But like there's this kind of dark gray charcoalish heather thing that has a cowl on it. So if one of us is going to wear the cowl shirt that we both have, we have to like let each other know, by the way, I'm wearing the cowl, because otherwise we're accidental twinsies. And if you're going to be a twin, you want it to be a purposeful twinsies. But Nook sent me this picture too, and this is badass. He says he gets asked if people can buy this from him whenever he wears it. And that, I love that. It's Star Trek, or Star Wars night, I guess. Star Trek. Oh, I'm so bad there. I fucked that up. Yes, the left sock dimension, those are the dresser people for me. They leave me random shit that I don't need. The most recent was the windbreaker. And I asked Joshua about it. I'm like, I know you haven't been here. Stormtrooper. Okay.
Starry
But
night.
when Josh was here, that's what, yeah, I was like, but I was just talking, I'm like, so this windbreaker showed up. I'm like, it's not big enough for either of us. Like it could only, it's a tiny windbreaker and it's gray and white and neither of us wear that. And I'm like, I've been through all my laundry. I had it sitting down there at the end of my bed. And this was like, it wasn't like I'd been flinging things around the night before or anything. I'd like moved stuff home, got back, and then it was spread out. It was like somebody had taken it, shaken it out, and laid it out across on top of my clothes. Was the fucking windbreaker that was the latest offering that I am aware of from the dresser people. And that's still pissing me off. Like they stole things at Terrificon and returned them, but they stole a comic. I took there specifically to get signed, and like we all looked for it in the exact same place where I put it, like this one stretch of wall that's like 5 feet wide. And as soon as somebody over, the person that was going to sign it, as soon as they basically left the building, Jeremy looks over and he picks it up, and it's like right there. Where we'd all fucking been looking for it. Like, yeah. Alphabet City, yeah, I could probably dump a lot of my shit down in Alphabet City and people would take it. That's the not so pleasant part, one of the not so pleasant parts of Lincoln. And yes, the dresser people are bastards at times. Every now and then they bring me something cool, but usually no. They switch out my lighters with lighters that I would never buy. That's the weird thing too. Like, ooh, I lost my lighter. I reach under. This one has a waterfall on it. It looks inspirational. Do I look inspirational to you? I am not an inspirational person. but not in a waterfall kind of way.
No.
I need to get back to writing my novel.
Yes.
Backlanders of the Flame. You plan on doing any welding?
I have a torch somewhere. I lost. I don't know where it is now, but I really think I kind of freaked out the neighbors because I went out to do an offering with my because the weather was okay. This was a while ago, and so where'd that go? Yes. But I was I had out my little soap bowl. I had a bunch of the cigarettes that were going, and I was putting the nicotine loose, and then I had some like whiskey as well, and I had it all set up outside so I didn't blow up anything in my apartment. And I like had the torch so I could keep like lighting the tobacco and blow on it and get it to, keep smoking until it was all done, and lighting booze. But the whole time I'm doing it, somebody went out in their car and like they were getting ready to leave or something, and we're waiting for people because people are coming kind of in and out. And I'm just sitting over on this little sidewalk that has a step down on the side of our building, and they're just staring at me for like half an hour, 45 minutes. I don't know why they were out in their car so long, but they stayed there the entire time I was working on doing some of my offering stuff, and just stared at me the whole time. I'd like look over and they're still just like talking on their phone, taking little videos of me and shit. And I was just like, yep, and I have this little doll sitting in front of me and like all these things and parts of my mouth around. So it was just like,
Meth is a hell of a drug.
yeah.
All right, so here's a
Shut up.
question.
It wasn't meth. It was offerings. That would be bad. What'd you give the Baron Samadia for an offering? Meth. Well, fuck. That's not going to be good.
Here's a question.
Oh, that's a story. That's what I want.
Not you, then.
Yes.
Das Nuke. So I need to finish the novel that I'm writing so that I can get it out, for publication by next February. So it'll be a year from when Inside My Nightmares came out. And then after that, I'm probably going to do another story collection of stories that are not quite horror related. The problem that I'm having is that because my mindset is always on writing horror stories, I'm having a very hard time trying to come up with ideas for stories that are not horror related.
Speculative fiction.
That doesn't help.
It can be horror adjacent. You just don't have to. Well, then just write. Dude, if you don't want to, if you are more comfortable writing horror stories, write horror stories. Ramsey Campbell has like thousands. You can't be. I might be exaggerating a little bit, but I know he has at least like 700.
Well, no, it's not that. It's I have some short stories that I have written in the past that are not horror related, but they are all about like exaggerated reality or something sort of alternate reality.
Okay.
So I want to put together a collection of short stories that follows that theme that are not horror related. And I'm having a hard time coming up with ideas. I think I may have explained the concept for this in a previous episode, but I'm having a hard time coming up with ideas.
Find stories that follow, like books or other short story collections that follow that idea, and just start reading them, because I know with me, my poetry is usually reciprocal. I go through and I read poetry volumes, and then I'm like, ooh, my brain has bounced something off of that.
I
Another
think I
thing,
used
go
to be.
to go to a place like writing prompts and just look at random writing prompts that people have posted up and see what you can think of through them. And if it like fleshes itself out towards something like that, go ahead and write it.
And search hashtag prompt in the Fakecore group as well.
I used to be a lot better about doing cross genre type writing, until I sort of pigeonholed myself into doing mostly horror.
I'm all over the place, but I like horror the best. I just sometimes get something that I can't not write, and I have to get it exercised at least from the brain onto the page. I wish I was doing that more often, but it keeps needing to ferment more. It's not quite ready. Yeah. Ooh, dark comedy.
Oh,
There you go. That is fun as well.
Yeah, I got to think about it. 'Cause I'm not sure. I think I've got maybe 4 or 5 stories that I can put in the collection. Of course, they all need to be edited and possibly rewritten in some parts to make them publishing worthy. So I'm not entirely certain how long the book would be yet, but I'd like to have at least another 3 stories to round out the collection. So maybe 8 overall.
Go through and set them up and edit them and rewrite the places that need to be rewritten. And that'll help you get in that mindset again. And then see where it takes you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I feel like I want to finish the novel first, just so I can get it out of the way, because this thing's been kind of a thorn in my side for a while,
I
and
know that feeling.
I want to get past this one part, and it's sort of driving me crazy because I need to flesh it out, expand it a little bit. I'm just not sure how to do that yet. And the farther I get away from it, the harder it is to finish it.
Yeah. That's why I've started just like copying and pasting ideas I've had where I'd write little bits and put them in a document and then reread that and then grab a journal and start seeing what ideas I can come up with the one that is bothering me right now.
I need to be more diligent with my writing. I need to write more. I just need to make it be more consistent. I'm a terrible example. I am not a paragon of writing consistency. I am not the role model.
I'm not either. Not at all. But I have recently, since Menagerie, I've been getting, well, first, probably Fae Propaganda. From Fae Propaganda and Menagerie, I've been getting more done.
And what do you think that is?
The community that we have built.
You make it a point to write.
Yeah. We have built something, and my writing means more than it did 2 years ago. My writing means more than it did when I was in high school. But I have reached my biggest goal in high school.
To get
And I
published?
am getting published and being able to buy my book to the Barnes and Noble store. Because don't ask me why. When I was in high school, that was the bookshop that was like the big goal. The bookshop there from the small town I lived in. Okay, it
Mhm.
just seemed so big, and I decided that was my goal. And I've been able to buy a book written by me with my name on it, with stuff from my life in it, through Barnes and Noble. And now I've been able to find a new, bigger community, and we've done things like the menagerie, and we are continuing to do things like Fae Propaganda and Nightmare Whiskers. Thank you, Das Nook.
Yeah, now that my book is actually out there, and I can do the same. Uh, what are the first 5 about? Just general topic idea. What do you? I'm not sure what he's asking.
Those 5 stories that you said you had done that just needed to be edited and rewritten a bit.
Okay. Yeah, I'll answer that. But my goal now is, because now that the first book is out, Inside My Nightmares, and that's something that I never actually thought I would get around to doing. And now that I have, it's sort of gotten the ball rolling, and I want to keep that ball rolling, which is why I want to get the novel done so that I can now have 2 books out, and then 3 books out, and then 4 books out. And like I love the fact that maybe they'll be carried in bookstores and other people can buy them, or and pick it up and go, oh, this looks interesting, because I mean, it's a pretty cool cover. I think it's eye-catching. It's a pretty cool
Oh, I
cover.
love the cover.
uh
I was proud that I could make my own cover.
so now the next goal is, now that the book is out, I want to get a book up on Audible. I want to have an audiobook out there that people can get through Audible. And I know that, Patty's working on that. And I think that she said that Raz would probably be the reader for the audiobooks. And, I think that's fine. I'd like to narrate my own audiobook if that's possible. I don't think I'm quite set up here for it. I still think I've got too much background noise, and it wouldn't be as clear as it should
They
be
have really strict
set up.
rules.
What's that?
So they have really strict rules, and you're going to have to buy the at least good enough equipment to get past their strict rules.
Oh yeah, I'm
So you
aware.
can have it on Audible. And some
I'm
of
aware.
them are just like what they allow for authors that are well known compared to like authors, self-published authors from Colorado. I found the difference rather aggravating.
You can, a lot of places, though, and I think you're in a big enough area that you should be able to find somebody. People who have bands or other narrators will have their own in-house studios that you can, get time in and like rent some time from them if they, depending on how much work you ask them to do for it all. But that's something that could help. I have one of my uncles, I guess the band is on a break for a little while, but he's an Audible narrator and he has like 30 some books up that he's done, and he just uses the same room that he does his music recording in, I believe.
Oh,
Now I'm really
I
curious
plan on
what his
setting up
name
my
is.
own recording studio to do audiobooks. And like, I can record here. I've got everything I need to do the recording, but it's not a soundproof environment. So there's always going to be
Yeah.
anomalies sound wise that, you can't really clean up just because the mic's going to pick it up. Like the air conditioning goes on, or maybe the white noise of the fan in the background, or Ori meowing outside the door or something like that. I don't have a pure, clean environment that I can use for recording. But I may not stay in this apartment for more than another 2 years, because I'll be looking to buy probably within 2026, in which case I'll be able to set something up that will be more sterile, more soundproof at that time. And once I do that, and I've got the ability to record, then I'll be able to do audiobooks and anything else of that nature. So that's my next goal. So if it is Raz that does the recording for the first audiobook, that's fine. But it's something that I want to look at doing for myself later on, because I would like to be able to narrate my own books.
Mm-hmm.
Now, getting back to Daz Nuke's question about the 5 stories, the ones I can think of off the top of my head, one is called When the Clock Stopped. And it's about the first 5 about just general topic idea. The first one's called When the Clock Stopped, and it's about a kid who's kind of podunk backwoods boy, lives on a farm and ends up going to a high school in the city. And his next door neighbor, or the guy that works at the farm that is next to theirs, collects clocks. And all of the clocks are synchronized to the same time so that they all chime simultaneously. And it's a racket. But this kid has grown up with these clocks. So he's used to hearing them when they chime and doesn't think anything about it until somebody plants a thought in his head, what happens if all the clocks stopped? So that's one of them. The other one is called the Milky Way cactus. And it's a giant cactus, probably about 20, 30 feet tall, that is growing in a place where cactuses don't normally grow, and what people do with it. One is called Road 269, which was heavily inspired by the Twilight Zone. And it's sort of a dark romance, philosophical, how people are connected. Let's see. What's the other ones? I have to go back and look through my writing folder to find out.
Was that the one where they had met at a bar and then saw each other again at a different spot?
No, I don't think you've read that one yet. Road 269. I don't think I've read that one on Owlite yet.
What's my lighter?
Oh, now she's looking for a lighter. It's going to be something the dresser people moved it, and it's going to be different.
Actually, no. But as I was walking to the bathroom, I had forgotten about it. It wasn't okay. The coat thing wasn't the last thing. This was the most recent thing that showed up.
Oh,
I'm the
wow.
oldest person here. I've been living here for over 20 years now, and I did not buy old jokes for old folks for myself. It was sitting on top of my stack of a box that has all of my fake horror novels in it, my author's copies. This was just sitting on top of it. So.
Oh no! The
So
other
there we
story
go.
I did read on Owlite when we did Campfire was the Fortress Cyberpunk Romance. I think I did read that one, and I'm still debating whether or not I actually want to include that in the book because I don't think it's my best work. I mean, it's an okay story, but I don't think that. I don't know.
It though.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. I mean, it stands alone, but I don't know if it's really like publishing worthy.
This is definitely one of mine. It has a raven on it.
Definitely. I'd say it's definitely publishing worthy because it's a pretty good story. There is an audience for it. And early happy birthday.
Yes. I have your
So
birthday on
old.
my calendar.
So that's 4. Well, yeah, it'll probably be another 2 years before that one gets published because I want to get the novel done first, and then I'm setting all of those aside so that they can be included in one story collection, kind of like Inside My Nightmares. So it'll be all of those stories will be contained in their own book. I'm not going to release them in any of the fake horror anthologies.
Yes.
The other one is the flash fiction that I wrote for Going Home, which Friday put in the newsletter with the tiger escaping from the zoo.
Oh, those are actually going to be in an anthology soon that we're going to the newsletter anthology thing.
I will most likely include Going Home in the collection with the exaggerated reality stories. But it's only about 1,000 words, so maybe 1 or 2 pages at most.
Dude, I did really like both stories, but I like the key one better.
Yeah, the key was sort of a exploration of the existential well, I guess that's redundant, existential existence. An exploration of existential beginnings, I guess.
I like beginnings. I have problems with endings. I am too loquacious.
I'm wondering if should I put the key in with that
I
one as
love that
well?
you
It's
have
kind of a exaggerated reality book or an exaggerated reality story.
Dude, I'd put all of them in it because there's a place for all of them, a group of people that will enjoy them. Because a couple of them reminded me of KT Seto's stories that she has written, and I love those. So I know there's a place for them.
I still need
And
to
you
write
just
3 more
give me
stories. 3 more stories along that vein that are not horror related. So I got my work cut out for me. I have a list of story ideas and kind of a running tally that I've been keeping of stuff that I want to write, just like general ideas, and they're all horror related. It's just like I need an idea that's not horror related.
That's when I go to writing prompts every now just to spur myself to start writing something, or sometimes horribly just because I need to get the writing done. And I keep saying horrible. This is not horrible. I am a fan of fan fiction. Okay, I just am. There is some good fan fiction. There is some really shit fan fiction, but there is some really good fan fiction. And I particularly like Harry Potter fan fiction, especially crack fan fiction, because it's hysterical. And some of the really dark stuff too. But I've written a couple of crack fics recently that are just little like one shots over on the HP fanfic thing. And it'll be like, I can't write my own shit right now. I can't come up with anything of my own, but this is an established world with characters that I can alter a little bit, play with, have some fun with, make them the most extreme version of themselves as they can be and get it down. And like, I was the other day, a month or two ago, the other day, I saw one and I saw this prompt and it was like, ooh, I have an idea for that. And I started writing out just like the quick little, I'll jot some notes and maybe I'll work on this later. And I got like 2 pages worth of notes done before I realized, like, if I just added some sentences, I'd pretty much write the entire story. So, but it's not my stories. My stories are still here, and the characters are like, no, we're not ready yet. We are half baked. We do not want to go in this direction that you want us to go in. We are not going to let you take us there. And if you do, we're going to make the story shit. So there you go. I'm like, fuck.
My major problem with a lot of fan fiction, like you say, a lot of it's shit. My major problem with a lot of fan fiction is that it's really just the writer putting out their sexual fantasies that they want to ship with whatever the character is from that particular story. And that's pretty much it.
It's still illegal here in Nebraska, Nook.
And usually it's written by people that can't write, that aren't very good at writing.
I can skip some of the if you skip over like the romantic and naughty stuff, there are some really good plots. Unfortunately, a lot of the people who come up with some of the best, most detailed plots, like either English is their third language, or they cannot write a single sentence that doesn't have at least one typo in it. But I'll read 385,000 words and just cringe the whole time I'm reading it, because I really like the plot and the way the story's going. But they just can't. I want to rewrite it as I'm reading it and send it back to them and be like, I really enjoyed your story. Obviously, you didn't have a beta, a BritPick, or an editor. So here's everything fixed for you. You're welcome. But then it's like, ugh.
That's kind of what I wish I could have done with that story I was telling you about with the Egyptian diamond before we started the show. I wish I could have rewritten it and send it back to him, but he had already published the book.
Yeah. It just...
It's like hindsight, bro. Next time, pay the money for the freaking editing, because you have a good premise. You just didn't proofread.
Typing it on a coconut.
4 novel plots written by a guy whose English is 5th language. He's typing it on a coconut, pretty much. And coconut because he's milking it.
Oh, Ron is the king of puns again. One. That's one. You get 2.
I take as many as I want. No limits.
No more puns for you.
I'm happy to see
You
guys
get 2 and you like it.
I wrote
writers come up with some of the
once.
Yeah.
And believe it or not,
he is a punny bastard.
I am. Believe it or not, it was a loosely Harry Potter based fanfic.
Yes.
But
what was it about?
It was not Harry Potter. The main character of the story is actually J.K. Rowling.
Okay.
And there's no sex in it whatsoever.
That makes me happy. I get weirded out. When people... No, bad Nook.
Dumbledore and Harry Potter. Woo. Yeah.
Yeah, I read one the other day, and it was like, you know how they have, there's a Dumbledore bashing where it's like, he arranged to have everything bad happen to Harry, and he's stealing all of his money, and the goblins are in it, but if he can get the goblins, then he's going to be the heir to 5 different houses and have a harem, and this person wrote, like, their story was so short, each chapter was just basically the outlines of all of those same stories put together, and was looking for advice for, like, yeah, I want something really cool to happen, but I can't figure out what happens between this part and this part. And but he was just rewriting the books with the bashing that I've read so much better in everything. But it was like he was just taking notes and just wrote that as his story. And I feel bad. I hope he isn't seeing this, but you need to, like, actually write some stuff that isn't either a direct quote from the book or basically a copy paste of somebody else's work. But there was one guy who did that right, because he made it into a crack fic. And so it was like he abbreviated everything, and he was like, okay, and then all of the girls in all of Hogwarts, basically, like, went with Harry to the bank, and he found out that he was the heir of 13 different families, so he had to marry them all. And they all said, yay! And they went to the vaults, and they all got special jewelry, and they all said, yay! And then he took them all shopping, and then they got all their stuff, and they got really super cool trunks, and they got lots and lots and lots of clothes, and then they all said, yay! They just kept doing that. And it was like, okay, that's a good way to do it. Just make it super silly, instead of going into, because if I have to read, I had somebody that I was reading one time. Oh, I was trying to highlight a different one, and that just showed up. I was going for this one first. I'll behave for now, and then you say this.
Are you familiar with RPG Lit?
Yes.
So, RPG Lit is like taking Dungeons and Dragons and basically turning them into stories where you're basically taking out all of the dice rolling or the characters bickering about what they're going to do and all of that, but you break it down to basically just the plot of the story, and it moves along, but you're still using like a lot of the terminology and stuff that you would use in your RPG. I think Dungeon Crawler Carl is probably one of the more commonly known RPG lit type stories out there. But there's also a genre of fiction like harem literature, which is where the main character or the hero of the story, the reality, ends up in a reality where harems is the norm. And now there is a cross genre of literature which combines RPG lit with harem fiction.
Okay.
And so I am I can't think of the name of the freaking series now. It's basically a superhero RPG lit. What it actually keeps all of like the stat sheets and like tells you when the character levels up or when they gain XP, because the main character, he's got a microchip AI planted in his brain that gives him a heads up display of all of his character sheet with all of his stats and everything. It's very well explained, but it takes place in a universe, a fictional universe where harems are allowed. So he ends up with like 6 wives. And through the act of copulation with his wives, the nanobots that create the microchip in his brain that gives him his heads up stats are transferred to his wives. And at some point when they develop far enough along, they get that same ability with the AI inside their brain that will also give them a heads up and their character sheet stats and all of that. It's I cannot think of the name of the series, but it's really well written, but it is most definitely written for guys because the sex scenes are extremely graphic. It's a great plot. It's a great storyline. But man, the author spends a lot of time on the sex scenes, and it is not it's not PG at all.
I bet you would be exceptionally surprised as to how many women read that. Yesterday
do not
was
know,
Fill Your
because
Kindle Day.
it's the first like type of literature. I did not know it was going to be that going into it. I just like, okay, it's lit RPG and it has to do with superheroes. Okay, I'll give it a try. And it came in a box set. So I started reading it, and then I get to that, and I'm like, whoa, what the hell am I? Like, what is happening here? And
Now, if
like,
you want really good lit RPG books that aren't basically porno, where you get great story, great adventure, and you have all the things that you would expect, go to Shadow Alley Press. But I also definitely recommend James Hunter's books. He has some great stories with great characters. And their publishing company was the first one that I actually read lit RPG of. Because I think his and J.D. Astor's are my favorites.
Yeah, I just sort of read, whatever comes along. I have seen the show The Boys.
Yeah, that we actually lucked out at Terrificon, I think it was last year, and got to talk to Garth Ennis a little bit about the comic behind it and where they changed things in the show and different stuff. That's what I thought of first, though, when you were saying superhero stuff. I was like, that's superheroes and sex. That sounds like The Boys.
Let me pull up my Audible. Let me pull up my Audible, and I'll see if I can get the name of the series. Because there was like 5 books in the series. For the life of me, I cannot remember what the name of it is.
I realize I'm just flashing things on the screen because I read too fast. I'm like, oh, I read this quote. Okay, done.
It's almost time for me to go to bed. It's after midnight.
Is something evil lurking in the dark?
Something evil's lurking in the dark. Let's see. Prism Academy Omnibus. That was the name of the series. Prism Academy.
Okay.
By Bryn Kelly. Nope, that's wrong. That's a different book. Not Bryn Kelly. David Burke. Prism Academy by David Burke.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Is that what that smell was? I thought your brain was overheating.
It's dead. It just died. And I put the link to that one book in the chat.
Thank you.
Prism Academy?
No, the one I was suggesting to you. I just now found out the name of Prism Academy.
So
Prism
I had
Academy
my
is
mind
lit RPG superhero with a lot of very graphic sex scenes, and it's harem fiction.
Okay. Possibility. I have 3 beta sales left. 2 are fighting and 1 is on vacation. Author's note. I discovered this today, and you guys might know this, but it blew my fucking mind when I was talking to Sean Campbell when he was doing a book club session thing for his book. Did you know that
No, I didn't.
That when you are using Microsoft Word, okay, I am a period, space automatic person. I always double space after a period. If you go up to replace and you put in period, space, and you replace it with period, space, it will go through your entire document and fix that for you. You guys knew this and you never told me? Like
When
I'm
you-
shaking my head as and I'm like, damn it, I need to have known that a bit ago.
okay, because
I'm
like,
doing the tired damn it nod.
You
Okay,
can
I
you
do
can do that
the,
with
like-
just about anything in Microsoft Word. You know, if
What?
you have several uses of like somebody's name and it's not capitalized and you need it to be capitalized, and you can place it with a capitalized version of the name, and it'll go through the entire document and change them all.
I knew that. I just didn't realize that space counted as something you could use as a character. So I
Mhm.
have always gone through and I write my stories, and then I go back through the entire fucking thing and make another copy of it where I've gone through and after the end of each sentence in the story, backspaced once through the whole thing. And I'm just like, they could tell when they're just like, your brain just exploded, didn't it? I'm like, yes, it did. I don't know if I'll ever use it because it is kind of a good editing tool to go through because you have to reread everything again. But well, yeah, you would know this. Nook is a computer guru too. Number 255. Okay, I'll remember that now
42.
in case my spacebar ever breaks.
And we've been on for about 3 hours, so it would make sense to find
Oh,
it in spot.
Yeah, and because we've been on about 3 hours and it's now 10 after 12, I'm probably going to call it since I have to be up at 6.
Okay, tell people
all
where you want
right.
people to find you.
What if I don't
Yes.
want them to find me? I don't want them to find me. I want them to find my book. Go find my book.
Okay, but at some
Well, where do they
point,
find your
whenever I
book?
finish your stalking, you're gonna have to tell me how to find you, so I can mail it there.
Okay. If you really, really, really need to find me, you can find me on my author page on Facebook, Ronald W Gillespie Jr. -author. Or you can find Friday, and she will find me for you. Send me cookies, send me Twinkies, send me beef jerky and Slim Jims and all the goodies, and that'll go a long way toward bribing me to respond back. I am also on TikTok occasionally under @WolfDojo. I think, as I mentioned earlier in the show, I'm a martial artist, and I try to make martial arts content for TikTok, not very prolifically as of late, but I haven't been writing either. So, hey, so sue me. If you are into martial arts content, you can find me on TikTok under @WolfDojo. Find me on the author page. Find me here on Owlite, Bugging Dell, and Friday, and usually Raz and Pyle, and most definitely James, because metalhead. So,
Yes.
but other than that,
Let's
I
stick
got
around
nothing.
for about 10 seconds and we'll close everything up because, yeah, we're 3 hours in.
Okay, I'll stick around for 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7,
Oh,
6.
don't make me send a pissed off drunk squirrel your way. You don't want it. You don't. He'll get you. I'm going to go quick because Jenny has the longest one.
Well, my sloth and your squirrel can get in a fight.
My sloth will move. Your sloth is slow.
Yeah.
Yay. Yes,
he's
do
got
come
one
hang out
arm.
more, Nook. All right, so you can find me at Carrie, Kari, Sanders over on Facebooks, and all of my other links are there to my author page, to Delphine, to Owlite, to splash pages. We have a show coming up on Tuesday. If we don't have any guests this time, so we're just reading a book, hanging out, telling the news, doing the thing, chilling. The next 2 weeks we have upcoming on Sundays, we're going to have the clutch. We're going to have Ellen Datlow, awesome editor. I'll be getting that up soon. I've just been having some problem getting StreamYard to load some things. And the week after that, we're going to have Bridget Nelson and Jeff Strand on, which is going to be super fun. And tomorrow night, we are doing Tomb of the Terrible, and we are watching, as part of our Amityville Horribles season, Amityville in Space.
Which I will not be here for tomorrow night, as I mentioned.
Oh, that's sad.
I know. I mean, I watched the movie and was not impressed. I was, I'm not even sure what to say about it because, like, it's not bad, but it's just bad. Does
It's
that make
the
sense?
fourth movie made by that same group in the Amityville genre, that is. But
Well, they really know how to use their Adobe After Effects and green screen backgrounds. Let's put it that way.
oh, then they got better. Okay.
So I'll give them props for that because I think they only had like one actual set in the entire movie, and the rest of it was all green screen and Adobe After Effects. And the AI, I can't remember what the AI's name was, but the whole
You you don't get it. You don't get to do a Ron's rant because this is not Tomb of the Terrible.
I know that would be going on till like 4 o'clock in the morning if I did that. Jeez. Anyway,
Record Ron's rant tomorrow, send it in, and we'll play it during the show.
that's a good idea. I could probably do that.
There you go. Yes.
All right.
Friday, where do we get hold of you?
I'm here at Owlite. I'm at Faycore. I'm at Friday's Library in the Blue Box. And I'm at my author page, Jennifer Elliott, and you will find me pretending to be like 7 other people randomly. See if you can figure out who they are.
She is an author cosplayer. It's crazy. So thank you
But
guys
no,
for showing
don't.
up. Oh.
Yes, I'm an author cosplayer. They write their own stuff. Let's get that out of the way first. They write.
She is
stuff. I
author,
just pretend to be their voice online sometimes.
and she is also an author in her own right. Right?
She's an author who is a cosplayer.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you guys for showing up. Nook, love you. Talk to you soon. And we are gone, guys. Bye. Thanks for coming.
Yay, we made it.
Whee!